Okay, good afternoon, students. So today we are back with our English 2 class, and today again we will be doing one of the short stories from the textbook Ecos, a collection of short stories. So in the last class we have done Fritz. Today we will be doing the third story in your textbook, which is titled Quality, okay, by John Galsworth. Okay, so we got the title of the story and the writer John Galsworthy. Okay, John Galsworthy was born in August 14, 1867 in England. Okay, and he died in January 1933. So he was also a Nobel Prize winner for literature, and he won the Nobel Prize in the year 1932. Okay, he was initially he was trained to become a lawyer, but after he lost his father, he shifted his he switched to writing. Okay, he mainly dedicated his life in writing after that. Okay, and what are the kind of works, okay, what are the kinds of writings that he deals with? Okay, he deals with social class system that was prevailing at the time, okay, at the time when he was writing. And he also concentrated especially on the upper middle class, and he also belonged to the upper middle class. And he also treated his characters as someone who is sympathetic. Okay, he highlighted their narrow-mindedness and snobbishness. Snobbishness here means people who are arrogant, okay, and pretentious, and also suffocating moral values. That means people who have lost their moral values. So these are the kind of characters that he portrays in his writing. So and John Galsworthy was remembered for his trilogy, the Forsyte Saga. Okay, this is his trilogy, and he is being remembered for this work. And in 1917, he was offered a knighthood, but he rejected, saying that writing was an author's greatest reward. Okay, he refused to get the knighthood, saying that being a writer itself is such a great reward. However, he later accepted the Order of Merit and also the Nobel Prize. So the story quality, okay, he published this story in the year 1912, and Galsworthy possesses the issue of the hardship that true artists have to face in the shallow, money-mad world that attaches little importance to the ideals of quality and excellence. So what can we look for in this story is that Galsworthy tries to show us that in the developing countries, okay, with the invention of the machines, okay, if you remember the industrial revolution in 1840, okay, in 1840 what happened? Inventions of machines, and many big companies came up and they replaced the cottage industries. Okay, many craftsmen have lost their job because of that, because of this new invention. So in this story quality, that is what Galsworthy is trying to portray. Okay, that how people have started to give so much importance in the money, okay, in the revenue that they have now little importance of any quality. Okay, and in such time he wanted to portray how the craftsmen, okay, how the people who earn their living by their artistic ability, how they have suffered a lot, because people they want things to be done in a very easy way, and that is why they don't have patience, they lack patience, and they want everything to be done quickly, okay, and we know that with the help of machines everything has become so easy and everything was being done quickly, and because of that there was a little importance given to the ideas of quality and excellence. Okay, so we will be reading the story line by line and we will see how, you know, the quality, okay, the importance of quality. Okay. Quality by John Galsworth. I knew him from the days of my extreme youth because he made my father's boots. Okay, boots here means the boots that we wear, okay, shoes. Inhabiting with his elder brother two little shops let into one in a small by street now, no more, but then most fashionably placed in the West End. So the narrator or the speaker here is telling us about a shop, okay, that makes or that sells boots, okay, that a little shop nearby the street, okay. That tenement had a certain quiet distinction. There was no sign upon its face that he made for any of the royal family. So tenement here means you know, building which has been rented by different people, okay, a building rented by multiple of people. So uh, merely his own German name of Gessler Brothers. So now you have to remember this. Gessler Brothers. So this is the name of the shop, okay, the where they make goods and sell them. So the speaker here is telling us about this shop. The name of the shop is Gessler Brothers, okay. And in the window a few pair of boots. I remember that it always troubled me to account for those unwearing boots in the window, for he made only what was ordered, reaching nothing down, and it seems so inconceivable that what he made could ever have failed to fit. So whatever boots that have been made in this shop, okay, they were so perfectly made that there are no times that, you know, they have made mistakes in the size. It always fit the customer's fit, okay. So they were very from this description we can come to know that the Gessler brothers and their boots were perfectly made for the customers, okay, and they make only ordered boots, okay. Now if we go to some of the shoe stores, we see varieties of shoes with different kinds of designs, okay, uh, and you could just go there and, you know, try which one fits you or which designs you like, and you can buy it. But in this particular shop, okay, the Gessler Brothers shop, there were no shoes that were displayed, okay. You can just go there and order for yourself. Only then you will be able to get your boots. Had he bought them to put there, that too seemed inconceivable. He would never have tolerated in his house leather on which he had not worked himself. Besides, they were too beautiful. The pair of pumps, so inexpressibly slim. The patent leathers with cloth tops making water come into one's mouth. So, when do you get water in your mouth? When you see something which is delicious and you want to eat, isn't it? So here the speaker is saying that the Gessler brothers make such a fine boots that even just by looking at the leather, okay, the leather and the material that they use, it could make your mouth water, okay. So the tall brown riding boots with marvelous sooty glow, as if though new, they had been worn 100 years. So the shoes have been worn for a very long time, but they still looked very new. Okay, those pairs could only have been made by one who saw before him the soul of boots. So truly were they prototypes incarnating the very spirit of all foot gear. Prototypes here means original. So the Gessler brothers, they produced original shoes, original boots, okay. These thoughts of course came to me later, though even when I was promoted to him at the age of perhaps 14. Okay, so you should remember that the narration, okay, the speaker is telling us something about the past, okay, his past experience. So he says that he visited this shop when he was only 14 years old. Some inkling haunted me of the dignity of himself and brother. Okay, so remember they are two brothers, Jessler brothers. So both the brothers own this shop and they both make boots. Okay, so here he's talking about these two brothers. For to make boots, such boots as he made, seemed to me then, still seem to me mysterious and wonderful. Okay, so the speaker is still amazed by the kind of boots that this brother makes. So he must be a regular customer, or he must be a regular visitor to these shops. Okay, he goes there to buy boots and he can't stop, praising the quality of boots that they make, the Jessler brothers make. I remember well my shy remark one day while stretching out to him my youthful foot. So now we know that the speaker, okay, he goes there to buy boots. So isn't it awfully hard to do, Mr. Jessler? Okay, this is asked by the speaker to Mr. Jessler. And his answer given with a sudden smile from out of the sardonic redness of his beard. It is an art. Okay, here it is an art means it is an art. Okay, why there is a little it is different in the way it is written is, remember uh, they are German, okay, and their accent is little different, okay, different from the normal English. Okay, so their accent is different, and that is why it sounded here in your textbook. It is given just as how it sounded. Okay, it is an art. So he says that making boots is an art. Himself he was a little as if made from leather, with his yellow crinkly face and crinkly reddish hair and beard, and neat folds slanting down his cheeks to the corners of his mouth. Okay, so now here the speaker is describing the Jessler brother, okay, one of the brother with whom he is conversing, with whom he is having a conversation. So he gives us the physical description of Mr. Jessler. Okay, he says that he has yellow crinkly face. Crinkly here means wrinkled. Okay, so we can come to know that the Jessler brothers were not that young anymore. Okay, he had wrinkly face and a wrinkly reddish hair and beard, and neat folds slanting down his cheek to the corner of his mouth, and his guttural and one-toned voice, for leather is a sardonic substance and stiff and slow of purpose, and that was the character of his face. So the speaker is even comparing Mr. Jessler with the kind of leather, okay, the leather that he used to make his boots. And that was the character of his face, save that his eyes, which were grey-blue, had in them the simple gravity of one secretly possessed by the ideal. His elder brother, okay, was so very like him, so they looked alike, okay, though watery, paler in every way, with a great industry that sometimes in early days I was not quite sure of him until the interview was over. Then I knew that it was he, if the words I will ask my brother, okay, brother here means brother, okay, had not been spoken, and that if they had, it was his elder brother. So one of the brother is a man of few words, that means he speaks very less. The only thing he tells is, I will ask my brother. Okay, when one grew old and wild and ran up bills, one somehow never ran them up with Jessler brothers. It would not have seemed becoming to go in there and stretch out one's foot to that blue iron spectacle glance, owing him for more than, say, 2 pairs, just the comfortable reassurance that one was still his client. So the narrative, okay, the speaker here is not telling us about the incident that is taking place in a very, what to say, in a very chronological way. So he is just narrating to us some of the things, some of the incident that he experienced with the Jessler brothers. Okay, it is not chronological. He's just picking up instances or his experience from here and there, from the past and the present. So he says that after he visited this shop after many years, and he says that it is just to reassure oneself that he is one of the loyal client or a buyer. Okay, for it was not possible to go to him very often. Okay, why does the speaker don't go to the shop very often? His boots lasted terribly. Okay, if you buy once, if you buy one boots from there, it lasted so long that you don't have to buy any new boots sooner. Okay, that is why you don't have to visit this shop often. Okay, having something beyond the temporary, some as it were essence of boots stitched into them. So he says that the boots that the Jessler brothers made lasted for so long, okay, that you don't have to go and buy boots again and again. Okay, you could use it for many years. One went in not as into most shop in the mood of please serve me and let me go. Okay, so we know that in most of the shop, when we go to any showroom, okay, any kind of shop, we have many people attending the shop. Okay, when you go, they will ask you, what do you want, ma'am, what do you want, sir? Okay, especially if you go to a shoe store, okay, they will ask you, and they will ask you your size, and they will attend you so that you will buy their stuff. But here, what happened in the Jessler brothers shop? It was nothing like that. Okay, you have to go there, and let's find out how they treat their customer. Okay, so he says that they will never say to you, please serve me and let me go, but restfully as one enter a church. So he compares the Jessler brothers shop to a church, and sitting on a single wooden chair waited, for there was never anybody there. So there were no attendants in their shop. Soon over the top edge of that sort of well, rather dark and smelling soothingly of leather which formed the shop, there would be seen his face. Okay, since you know that they make their own, they make the boots with their own hands, they have many material, okay, many leather, different kinds of leather, and the shops were the shops were smelling of those leather, and suddenly one man would appear to them, that or that of his elder brother peering down. Then after you have waited for sometimes, then one of the brother comes out to meet you. A guttural sound and the tip tap of vast slippers beating the narrow wooden stairs, and he would stand before one without coat, a little band in leather apron, with sleeves turned back, blinking as if awakened from some dream of boots, or like an owl surprised in daylight and annoyed at its interruption. Okay, so this is how they treated their customers. Okay, when the speaker went to the shop, okay, he had to sit on the wooden chair and wait for one of the brothers to come and meet them. Okay, and I would say, how do you do, Mr. Jessler? Could you make me a pair of Russia leather boots? Without a word, he would leave me, retiring whence he came or into the other portion of the shop, and I would continue to rest in the wooden chair, inhaling the incense of his trade. Okay, so it must be smelling of leather. Okay, the shop. Soon he would come back holding in his thin veined hand a piece of gold brown leather. With eyes fixed on it, he would remark, what a beautiful piece. That means what a beautiful piece. Okay, when I too had admired it, he would speak again, when do you want them? When do you want them? Okay, and I would answer, oh, as soon as you conveniently can. So the speaker, okay, is ordering a boots. Okay, he wanted to buy a boots, and he has placed his order, and he would say tomorrow fortnight, or if he were his elder brother, I would ask my brother. Okay, so the elder brother, okay, he is he don't speak much. Okay, the elder brother don't speak much, and if you ask him anything, he would just say, I will ask my brother. So the whole business seemed to be like managed or handled by the younger brother, the younger Jessler. Okay. Then I would murmur, "Thank you, good evening, Mr. Jessler." "Good morning," he would reply, still looking at the letter in his hand. And as I moved to the door, I would hear the tip-tap of his bar slippers restoring him up the stairs to his dream of boots. But if it were some new kind of footgear that he had not yet made me, then indeed he would observe ceremony, okay? Divesting me of my boot and holding it long in his hand, looking at it with his eyes, at once critical and loving, as if recalling the glow with which he had created it and rebuking the way in which one had disorganized this masterpiece. Then placing my foot on a piece of paper, he would 2 or 3 times tickle the outer edges with a pencil and pass his nervous fingers over my toes, feeling himself into the heart of my requirements. So here in this paragraph, we know that the speaker has been buying boots from this shop. Okay, this is not the first time that he is buying boots from this shop. He is a very persistent customer. The only thing is that he don't visit this shop often because he don't need new boots. He don't have to buy new boots very often. Okay, so he says that whenever the Jessler brothers made a different kind of designs for him, they used to get excited. Okay, the Jessler, Mr. Jessler himself, used to check, and it seems that he he was satisfied with the new design that he had made for the speaker. I cannot forget the day on which I had occasion to say to him, "Mr. Jessler, that last pair of town walking boots creaked, So this is again another incident. Okay, remember the story narrated to us is not in chronology. He's just bringing us the instances here and there, okay, not chronology, but some of the some of the experience that he have had with this Jessler brothers. So one fine day when he visited this shop, what did the speaker tell the Jessler brothers? He tells them that the last pair of town walking boots creaked. What do you mean by creak? That means it made a squeaking noise. Okay, when you walk, the boots made a squeaking noise. So he looked at me for a time without replying, as if expecting me to withdraw or qualify the statement. So the Jessler brother, after hearing that, looked very surprised. Okay, he looked very withdrawn. He could not believe what the speaker was telling him. "It shouldn't have creaked." So it shouldn't have creaked here means it shouldn't have creaked. "It did, I'm afraid. You got them wet before they found themselves." That means you have wet them before it is ready. That means you have somehow managed to wet it. Okay, you've walked on the water, or you have put some water on it. That's why it is creaking. So I don't think so. So the speaker says, "No, I don't think so. No, I don't remember any time walking in the water or making it wet." At that he lowered his eyes as if hunting for memory of those boots, and I felt sorry I had mentioned this grave thing. So now Mr. Jessler is worried, okay, because so far he have never made any mistake in making his boots, but when the speaker complained about the boots that was creaking, he was now worried, and and the speaker almost is regretful of telling him about the boots. So what does Mr. Jessler tells him? He says that send them back. That means send them back. He said, "I will look at them." So he is going to repair the boots. A feeling of compassion for my creaking boots surged up in me. So well could I imagine the sorrowful long curiosity of regard which he would vent on them. Okay, some boots, he said slowly. Okay, some boots here means some boots are bad from birth. Okay, he says some boots, they are bad from the time they are being made. If I can do nothing with them, I take them off your bill. So he says that I will try to repair it, Okay, I will try to repair it, and if even after doing that, if they still creak, I will not take any money. So that's the kind of what do I say, that's a kind of commitment, or that's a kind of loyalty that the Jessler brothers have towards their work. Okay, if their booths, if their customer had any kind of complaint about their work, they are willing to, uh, they're willing to just make it for free, and they will not charge any money. Okay. Once I went absent-mindedly into his shop in a pair of boots bought in an emergency at some large farm. So now here again, this is another instance, okay, another instances when the speaker went into the shop with the pair of boots which were not made by the Chesler brothers. Okay, he wore another boots which he bought in an emergency. He took my order without showing me any leather, and I could feel his eyes penetrating an inferior integument of my foot. At last, he said. So the speaker, he already knew that it is going to be bad, because he visited the Jessler shop with the boots which were not made by them. So when he went there to give his order, Mr. Jessler, okay, he was looking at the boots that the speaker was wearing. And what did he say? Those are not my boots. That means those boots were not made by me. They are not mine. So the tone was not one of anger, nor of sorrow, not even of contempt. But there was in it something quiet that froze the blood. Okay, he put his hand down and pressed a finger on the place where the left boot, endeavoring to be fashionable, was not quite comfortable. So the Jessler, okay, he got very curious, okay, to find out about the boots. So he bent down and put his finger on the left boot. Okay, he tried to press them, okay, trying to feel the boots, that how maybe he's examining the quality of how the boots have been made. So the speaker himself says that the boots were quite fashionable but not quite comfortable. Okay, the speaker himself knows that he's wearing a boot which is quite good to look at, okay, fashionable, but not that comfortable in wearing. Okay, uh, I'd urge you there, he said. Those big worms have no self-respect. So Mr. Jessler, he is talking about those who have made that boots. He said these people, they don't have any self-respect. Okay, so we see the kind of contrast between the Jesslers. Okay, the character contrast between the Jessler brothers and the other boots manufacturer. Okay, he says that these people, they don't have any self-respect. How can they make such boots? Okay, so here we know that the Jessler brothers wanted a quality, more than the look. Okay, they look for the quality than the look of the boots. He spoke long and bitterly, so he was very bitter after looking at those boots. It was the only time I ever heard him discuss the conditions and hardships of his trade. So this is the first time that the Jessler, okay, Mr. Jessler started talking about his hardship. That means what kind of problems, what kinds of troubles that they are facing while making their boots. Okay, they get it all, he said. They get it by advertisement, not by work. They take it away from us. Who love our boots? I'd gone to this. Presently, I have no work. Every year it gets less, you will see. And looking at his lined face, I saw things I had never noticed before. Bitter things and bitter struggle. And what a lot of grey hairs there seemed suddenly in his red beard. So this is the first time the Jessler has spoken up. Okay, Mr. Jessler have told that, these people, okay, they make boots and they sell it with the help of advertisements. Okay, they sell it with the help of advertisements, but their work don't have any kind of quality, and this is why we are losing out all our work. So he says that every year we are getting very less orders, okay, very less orders of boots, and we are losing our work. Okay, so now you see how the craftsman, okay, the artist, how slowly they are losing out their work, their income, okay, their source of income, because of the the technology, okay, we can say technology or the modern world that has come up. Okay, they produced goods in with the help of machines, and they could do it, and they could produce a whole lot of shoes at one time. Okay, and we people, we want things to be so fast and easy. We cannot wait, isn't it? We just go, if you need a shoe, you just go out and just buy it. But we know how the Jesler brothers work. They first take orders and they make it with their own hands, isn't it? So it is obviously going to take time, and we cannot wait for that. And that is why he says that every year we are losing out lots of customers and we are not getting any order. And while saying this, he looked very sad. Okay, Mr. Jessler was very sad, and the speaker could notice that the struggle, okay, the bitter struggle and the bitter things that they have to go through. And that is why even he had a lot of gray hairs. Okay, as best I could, I explained the circumstances of the purchase of those ill-omened boots, but his face and voice made so deep impression that during the next few minutes I ordered many pairs. Nemesis fell. They lasted more terribly than ever, and I was not able conscientiously to go to him for nearly 2 hours. So the speaker, okay, after that incident, the speaker felt very guilty. Okay, and he tried to explain to Mr. Jessler why he have bought those boots. As we already know that in an emergency he has purchased those boots, and by mistake he has worn them to the Jessler's shops. And to make up, okay, to make up to what he has done, he was feeling guilty. He ordered many boots that day. Okay, he ordered many pairs of boots that day, and it lasted. I told you their boots were of good quality, and that is why it used to last, okay, for many years. And that is why the speaker says that I was not able to visit their shops for nearly 2 years. Okay, when at last I went, so this is after 2 years, he goes and visit the Jessler brothers shop. When at last I went, I was surprised to find that outside one of the two little windows of his shop another name was painted, also that of a bootmaker, making a course for the royal family. The older familiar boots, no longer in dignified isolation, were huddled in the single window inside the now contracted well of the one little shop, one more scented and darker than ever, and it was longer than usual too before a face peered down and the tip-tap of the bar slippers began. At last he stood before me and, gazing through those rusting iron spectacles, said, "Mr. Isn't it?" So the name is not given here, the name of the speaker, okay, the narrator is not given here. So here, after he visited the Jessler brothers shops nearly after 2 years, and what did he find out? He found that, the names, there was another name next to the shop. That means the shop now is half of the shop now is being owned by another seller. Okay, and they have lots of advertisement outside their shops saying that they make boots for the royal family and all that, so that they will attract more buyers. Okay, we know the Jessler brothers never did any kind of advertisements, but their boots were of good quality. "Ah, Mr. Jessler," I stammered, "but your boots are really too good, See, these are quite decent still." And I stretched out to him my foot. He looked at it. "Yes," he said, "people do not want good boots, it seems so." And the speaker proudly shows to him his old boots, okay, the one which we have bought from them, and he says, "See, it's still, very fine, working fine, and they're very lasting." And Mr. Jessler says that, "Yes, I know, people these days don't want any good, good boots, and they just want, nice, fashionable. They go for the fashion and they don't go for the quality." So to get away from his reproachful eyes, the voice, I hastily remarked, "What have you done to your shop?" we know the shop is now different from the earlier days. Now the shop is in two parts. The other part is now owned by another seller. So he asked, "What have you done to your shop?" He answered quietly, "It was too expensive. Do you want some boots?" So he says that it was too expensive to keep those two stores for them. That is why he has given now the other shop to others. So I ordered 3 pairs, though I had only wanted 2, and quickly left. So again the speaker has ordered 3 more pairs of boots. I do not know quite that feeling of being part in his mind, of a conspiracy against him, or not perhaps so much against him as against his idea of boots. One does not, I suppose, care to feel like that, for it was again many months before my next visit to his shop I paid. I remember with the feeling, "Oh well, I can't leave the old boy, so here goes. Perhaps it will be his elder brother." So again there is a gap of time in between, and again he goes to this shop. Okay, for his elder brother, I knew had not character enough to reproach me. So his elder brother was a little shy. Okay, he never talked much. And to my relief, in the shop there did appear to be his elder brother handling a piece of leather. So that this time when he visits, he meets one of the Jessler brothers, and he thinks that it was his elder brother. Okay, "Well, Mr. Jessler," I said, "how are you?" He came close and peered at me. "I'm pretty well. I'm pretty well," he said slowly, "but my elder brother is dead." Okay, so now we know that the elder Jessler, okay, the elder brother, the elder Jessler is dead by now. And I saw that it was indeed himself, but how aged and wan, and never before had I heard him mention his brother. Much shocked, I murmured, "Oh, I'm sorry." See, when he visited this time, he thought Mr. Jessler to be the elder brother, because now he is physically very, he's become more weak when, and he looked more aged. That is why he by mistakenly thought that it must be the elder brother, the elder Jessler. But he told, Mr. Jessler tells him that his elder brother is dead. Okay. "Yes," he answered, "he was a good man. He made a good boot, but he is dead." And he touched the top of his head, where the hair had suddenly gone as thin as it had been on that of his poor brother, to indicate, I suppose, the cause of death. Okay, so even the younger Jessler has now become just like the elder brother with the passage of time. He could not get over losing the other shop. So this is the reason why the elder Jessler died. Why? He could not get over losing the other shop. They lost the other shop. Now I told you the shop is divided now into 2 shops. Okay, and his elder brother could not bear the pain of losing that shop, and that is why it has caused to his death. "Do you want any boots?" And he held up the ladder in his hand. "It is beautiful piece." So the speaker is now again being offered, to buy or to make a new boot. So he said, "This is a very beautiful piece. Would you like to, order a boot?" I ordered several pairs. It was very long before they came, but they were better than ever. Okay, one simply could not wear them out. And soon after that, I went abroad. Okay, after he got his boots, after he got his pair of boots, now the speaker has left and gone abroad. Okay, he left that place and now he went abroad. It was over a year before I was again in London. So after a year, the speaker is now back in London, and the first shop I went was my old friend's. So when he was back in London, the first shop that he visited was the Jessler brothers shop. Okay, I had left a man of 60. So when the speaker left London, Mr. Jessler was 60 years old. But when he came back, how old was he? I came back to one of 75. So how long was the speaker away? When he left, Mr. Jessler was 60, and when he came back, Mr. Jessler was 75. So 15 years. Okay. pinched and worn and tremulous, how genuinely this time did not at first know me. So you know how old he must be now, okay, how old Mr. Gessler must be now after 15 years. Oh, Mr. Gessler, I said, sick at heart, how splendid your boots are. See, I have been wearing this pair nearly all the time I have been abroad, and they are not half worn out, are they? So he proudly shows off the boots that he still owns, and they are not worn out. That means they are not, they were still they were still perfect, and nothing was broken, or nothing was wrong with the boots, and he's been wearing them when he was abroad. He looked long at my boots, a pair of Russia leather, and his face seemed to regain steadiness. Putting his hand on my instep, he said, do they fit you here? So he is again inspecting with his fingers, okay, pressing down the boots and saying that, do they fit you here? I doubled with that pair, I remembered. So he said, I had a lot of trouble making those pair, I remember. Okay, imagine a 75-year-old man saying that, I remember when I made the boots. What kind of dedication, or what kind of commitment they must have to each of the boots that they have produced or that they have made, that he still remember making those boots. Okay, so that's the kind of care, and that's the kind of dedication that they put in their work. I assured him that they had fitted beautifully. Do you want any boots? So again he's asking the speaker if you wanted to buy any boots. He said, I can make them quickly, it is slack time. Okay, I answered, please, I want boot all round, every kind. So the speaker again ordered every kind of boots. I will make a fresh model. Okay, he said, I will make a fresh model for you. Your foot must be bigger. Okay, and with utter slowness he traced round my foot and felt my toes, only once looking up to say, did I tell you my brother was dead? Okay, so now he Mr. Gessler, touch or trace the foot of the speaker, and he is going to make the boots with the measurement, and he again says that, did I tell you that my brother was dead? Okay, he remembers, that means he misses his brother. To watch him was painful, so feeble had he grown. I was glad to get away. So the speaker was very sad seeing Mr. Gessler in that condition, and he was rather happy to go away than to see him in that condition. Okay, he was feeling very painful for the Gessler brothers and their shop. I had given those boots up when one evening they came. Okay, so this time the boots that he ordered did not come on time. It had taken a longer time, and that is why the speaker says that I had given those boots up. That means he thought that he would not get the boots anymore because it was taking a longer time, and suddenly one evening it reaches him. Opening the parcel, I set the 4 pairs out in a row, then one by one I tried them on. So the speaker got his new boots and he's trying them one by one, and there was no doubt about it. In shape and fit, in finish and quality of leather, they were the best he had ever made. So see, each passing time, each year, the kind of boots that he made, Mr. Gessler has made, has been increasing. Okay, increasingly and becoming finer and finer. Okay, so this time he says that the fitting, the finishing, the quality of the leather, everything was best, to the best he had ever made me. And in the mouth of one of the town walking booths I found his bill. Okay, the amount was the same as usual, but it gave me quite a shock. He had never before sent it in till quarter day. I flew downstairs and wrote a check and posted it at once with my own hand. So the speaker, okay, speaker has never got the check as early as this time. Okay, he got the check very early, and so it was a little shock for him. So from this line we know that the Gessler now is struggling to make their living. Okay, they needed the money. Okay, they needed the money as soon as possible. So knowing that, the speaker has written a check and he goes down to post it. A week later passing, okay, now after a week later now, a little street I thought I would go in and tell him how splendidly the new boots fitted. So now after a week have passed, he wants to go and meet Mr. Jessler and tell him that he had made, or he had sent him a very splendid, okay, very fine boots that fitted him. But when I came to where his shop had been, his name was gone. So when he visited the street, now suddenly he could not find the shop. The name in that building, okay, that name was no longer there, it was gone. Still there in the window were the slim pumps, the patent leathers with float tops and sooty riding boots. They were still, the boots were still hanging there, but he could not find the name outside, okay. He could not find the Jessler brothers tag outside. I went in very much disturbed. So the speaker now is worried, or rather, wondering what has happened. So he goes inside. In the two little shops, again made into one. Okay. See, when the Jessler brother owned those shops, there was two buildings, okay, made into one, which is occupied or which is owned by the Jessler brothers. But after the death of his brother, okay, they lost a lot of. They have how do I say, they have not got much of customer, and that is why they were running short of money, and so they had to give away the other half of the shop to others, okay. But now after the name has been taken down, after Jessler brothers name has been taken down, the speaker found that the shop was again owned, the two buildings were again made into one. I went in a very much disturbing. Two little shops again made into one was a young man with an English face. So now even the one who is sitting in the shop is someone else, okay, an English face. Mr. Jessler in, I said, he gave me a strange, ingratiating look. No, sir, he said. No, but we can attend to anything with pleasure. See the difference between how the Jessler brothers were in terms of treating their customers, and how the new shop owner, he immediately says that, he attend to him, saying that anything with pleasure. We've taken the shop over. You have seen our name, no doubt, next door. We make for some very good people. So he's advertising himself. He says that we make, shoes for people who are very, of a high profile, those rich people. Yes, yes, I said. But Mr. Jessler, oh, he answered, death. So now the speaker is informed that even Mr. Jessler has died. Death but I only received those boots from him last week, Wednesday week. Ah, he said, a shocking go. Poor old man starved himself. So he says that Mr. Jessler starved himself, and that is why he died. Good God, slow starvation, the doctor called it. You see, he went to work in such a way, would keep the shop on, wouldn't have a soul touch his boots except himself. When he got an order, it took him such a time. People won't wait. He lost everybody, and there's he'd sit going on and on. I will say that for him, not a man in London made a better boot. But look at the competition. He never advertised, would have the best leather too, and do it all himself. Well, there it is. What could you expect with his ideas but starvation? So now we know how the reason behind why did Mr. Jessler died. So the man, this Englishman, he informs the speaker, saying that he would continuously, sit in one corner and work, and he will not let anyone else touch the boots but by himself. And since he is an old man now, he became very old, and his work also have started to be slower, and people could not wait. Okay, people could not wait for the boots that he was making, and that is why he lost everybody. And he would sit in the corner on and on, and although he made the best boots, okay, with the best leather that he have, he never advertised himself. Okay, he never advertised himself, and there were many competitors around. There was a lot of competition in making boots, which he, Mr. Jessler, could not cope up with. Okay, and at the end, what happened? He had to lose his life. He died out of working. Okay, he worked so hard that it causes to his life. That may be a bit flowery, as the saying is, but I know myself, he was sitting over his books day and night to the very last. You see, I used to watch him, never gave himself time to eat, never had a penny in the house, all went in rent and leather. How he lived so long, I don't know. He regular let his fire go out. He was a character, but he made good boots. So now we know that he worked day and night, okay, without any rest, and because he know that there are many competitors outside and he has to compete with them. That is why he had to continuously work day and night, sometime even without food or even without drinking, because the little income that he makes will go off in the house rent and buying the leather. Okay, and sometimes the fire go out, which means sometimes they even didn't have sufficient amount of food to eat, but he made good boots. He was true to his occupation. Okay, he was true to his work. Yes, I said, he made good boots, and I turned and went out quickly, for I did not want the youth to know that I could hardly see. That means the speaker's eyes were filled with tears, and that is why he could hardly see. And that's how the story ends. Okay, so the Chesler brothers were the boot makers. Okay, this is the name of the shop. Okay, now we will look into the analysis. So the settings, where is the story set? Boot makers shop. Okay, so the incident takes place. Okay, the whole setting of the story is in the boot maker shop. Okay, now let us look at the title. Okay, let us break down the title. What does the title? Is it appropriate? Now can we say that the title is appropriate for the story? Okay, maybe we can say as quality of the boots. Okay, quality of boots, and secondly we can also say that the display their quality of human nature. Okay. Human nature. Okay, we human, okay, we should look for quality. We should go for quality than just a mere show. Okay, we should not go for things that that is pleasing to the eyes, but we should also see how good that product or that thing is. So the quality of Mr. Jessler or the Jessler brothers, we know how true they were to their occupation, their work. Okay, they give everything to their work in making their boots. Okay, that's the kind of quality that we as a human also should possess. Okay, we should be true to the work that we are meant to do. Okay, not just just do it for the name's sake, but if you are into that occupation, if you are into that work, we should have the kind of loyalty and the commitment like the Jessler brothers. So on the there can be two layers of the title. One is describing the quality of the boots, and the other layer can be the quality of human nature. Okay, how a human should be. We should be a quality person. Okay, rather than just being shallow. Okay, just you know we say that sometimes we should not just judge the book by its cover, isn't it? Because if the book has its quality, it will be inside, isn't it, not the outer side. So From the title, we can see that there are two layers of meaning. First, it can be literally the meaning of, literally be read as the quality of the books, and secondly, as the quality of human nature. Okay, so we should know that this story was set during the Industrial Revolution. Okay, Industrial Revolution, history student might know, in the year 1840. Okay, during that time there was Industrial Revolution in the Europe, where there was a huge development of factories. Okay, many the works were now done during that time. During the Industrial Revolution, there were many inventions of machines, and those were used in the big factories to manufacture stuffs and goods, and many people lost their job. Okay, they did, the employer or the owner of those factories, they did not want to spend their money hiring people, since the work can be now easily done by the machines. So many people have lost their jobs. Okay, and since they could produce things more in a faster way, okay, in faster manner, so people wanted things to be more easy way, in an easy way, and which is why it affected the cottage industries, the artisans, the craftsmen. They became jobless. Okay, all the work have been now done by the machines. Okay, so here this the struggle, okay, the struggle of the craftsmen, the struggle of the cottage industry is represented by the Jessler brothers, how they struggle, in the competitive world. So there were many competitors around them who made very fashionable, we always go for the looks, isn't it? When we want to buy something, we always go for the look, and the quality comes second sometimes, isn't it? So, and that is why even in this story, the Jessler brothers lost their customers because of that, because they could not keep up to that competitors that were around. They could produce, so many shoes at a time, which were, which looked good, fashionable. Okay, so people does not value the quality. People do not value the quality. They want to be more, they want to, please their eyes. It should be pleasing to their eyes. That is how they always make their buying. So we know that the story deals with the very sensitive issue of the negative aspects of the Industrial Revolution. Okay, the negative aspects of the Industrial Revolution. And it also highlights that the industries, okay, the industries lacks of concern for quality. They don't want to make any, uh, goods which were good quality, because they know that if it lasted, they will have less buyers. Okay, so that is why they don't care about quality. And it also shows how the people are attracted to fashion. Okay, there are people, even now we are more attracted to fashion, and how quick service rather than quality service. We are more attracted to quick service than quality service. Okay, and what are the themes? What are the themes that we can derive from this story? Okay, narrative is first person narrative. Okay, first person narrative. Okay, themes. What is the main, center, or the main focus of this story? Commitment. Commitment to, can be anything, your work. Okay, which we see in the Jessler brothers. Commitment, loyalty, commitment, loyalty, and what else? Dedication, dedication towards one's work, dedication, and also loss in the life of the Jessler brothers, isn't it? They were loyal, they were committed, and at the end, what did they get? because of their commitment, their loyalty, and their dedication, at the end there was loss. They even lost their life. Okay. 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 So, and we can also say that theme can be of man versus society. Okay, how society is now is we only go for the outer appearance, isn't it? We don't want to look for the quality anything. Okay. And advertisements. Okay, we see how things are being advertised in these days. If you open your TV, the only thing half of the time you see is advertisements, advertising of their goods to sell their products, isn't it? Because they want to sell and they want more buyers, that is why they advertise, isn't it? And we, as a as a viewers or as a common people, we see that and we get attracted to it and we want it and we go and buy it, isn't it? And that is how they sell their goods. But as of Jesler Brothers, they never advertise or they never display any of their booths, and that is how they slowly could not sell their booths, uh, and that was the ultimate downfall of the shop, isn't it? So the story also highlights the virtues of hard work, honesty, okay, resolution, compassion, humility, and commitment. So it teaches us how we should be loyal and committed to our work. Okay. So I hope the story is clear. And as for the exam point of view, you should try to remember the names, okay, the age, and also the title, okay, the meaning of the title, quality, and how it is correctly used in this story. And you should also try to look at the character sketch of Mr. Jesler. Okay, what kind of person he was and how was he dedicated towards his work. Okay, that would somehow sum up all the important points in the story. Okay, that's it. Okay, that would be for today. And thank you.